Look, it's one of the reasons that Trump was elected is because people care about their country, they care about borders, they care about immigration, they want illegals to be sent home. And of course, it's been ugly to watch sometimes. It's obviously absolutely tragic that 2 people died. But you also have Democrats saying abolish ICE, saying that these ICE agents are Nazis, and that kind of stirs up a lot of hatred and a lot of extremism as well.
Don't be surprised. They're the same people who didn't want police. They're the same people well before ICE. They're the same people
defund the police.
Who said defund the police because BLM was going around smashing up cars, burning buildings, including businesses owned by African Americans, looting and torching and pillaging.
It's so extreme.
Don't be shocked.
Okay.
Because they're the same people who don't want the police, they're the same people who don't want ICE, and they're the same people who would call 911 when they're in trouble.
Absolutely. And for any of their family members that got into trouble, who do they call? The police. So Donald Trump, what's your assessment? He's been back for over a year now, his second term. Can you give him a scorecard?
Trying to decipher Donald Trump's strategy for me is like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube. And I've never solved one. I just don't have that part of my brain that works too efficiently on the Rubik's Cube. He is so unpredictable, and that's what makes him a genius. So I think that's what confuses his enemies so much, is that he's hard to pick, he's hard to track. When he says one thing, he might be meaning another. Usually the first statement he makes is never going to be the last position he arrives at. Now, that might be frustrating for people. And some people might say he keeps changing his mind, or he's telling lies, or he's doing whatever. It's a magic trick to confuse your opposition. And I think that's where he's done well. On the economy, I'd say, and he spoke glowingly about the state of the US economy, a little bit like our Prime Minister speaks glowingly about the state of the Australian economy.
Sure.
There's a big disconnect between those figures that are on the spreadsheets that they're looking at in Washington, DC or in Canberra in Australia, and what people are going through in their daily lives. The thing that I overwhelmingly hear from my radio listeners is they can't afford anything.
Yeah.
What they used to do, they can't afford to do anymore. What they used to plan for, they can't plan for anymore. I know even, for example, and you'd know this because you used to work with me, I've always tried to encourage the producers who work with me who are younger than me to get into the property market, to go, are you saving any money? And if you're getting a pay rise, are you going to put this towards a deposit? I've stopped saying that now.
Really?
Because it's unrealistic. Now, what I do say now is if you're at an auction and you're trying to buy a place and it goes a little bit higher than you've got, I'll always cover the gap. I'll chip in and you can pay me back whenever it's time.
Perfect. I'm going to give you a call very soon.
You can do that. But what I don't say anymore is, what are you doing? How are you saving? Even though I want that for them, but that's easy to say when I was growing up. Like I bought an apartment when I was 19 for $139,000. I can't say those types of things to the young people who are working for me now, which is why mums and dads are helping out their children, grandparents are helping out their grandchildren, bosses are saying, hey, if it's the difference between being successful at an auction or being unsuccessful, if you love that property and if it's another 50 grand or 60 grand or whatever, I'll come in. That's what it's got to. And that's what I'd say about the State of the Union, I suppose. I mean, what else is he going to say? He's not going to stand up there and go, look, the economy's going down the gurgler. He's going to talk about how great the economy is. He's going to talk about the fact that America's back. I've got to say, having watched a few State of the Unions now, and it's always been jarring for me, this is not a Trump thing, it's for all of them, Australians do find it a little bit hard to understand the constant rounds of applause during a State of the Union. For the benefit of our American viewers, and I know that this is an integral part of the US democracy, but in Australia, a political leader would need to rescue a baby from a burning building, plus the baby's mother, grandmother and great-grandmother, before anyone would give them a round of applause. So, but that's part of the tradition of the State of the Union.
And it's not just State of the Union, because when I see Donald Trump enter stadiums, you just hear the chants of USA, USA. I mean, he's a rock star over there. And he makes, I would argue, the State of the Union so much more entertaining. I mean, he absolutely knows how to make it theatrical, make it entertaining.
Oh, the theatre, which is why a lot of the things he says are aimed at getting attention. And attention is currency.
It is,
If you can't get people to pay attention to what you're saying, they're not going to get the chance to hear what you're saying. That's what Trump does. I've got a great Trump story if I can share it with you.
Absolutely.
No one watching would have heard before. Many years ago, a guy in Australia had a dream of bringing Donald Trump down under for a speaking tour. And this is when he'd just done the book, I think, The Art of the Deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so this guy read the book and he went, I got to get this guy to Australia. Got to bring him here. So he contacts Donald Trump's office and says, what would it take to get you to Australia? And a figure was given to him. It was about $1 million at the time to get him here. And so this guy went, okay, and he's paid the money to get Donald Trump to come to Australia. Only one problem. The guy had never organised a speaking tour before. He had no idea what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a wildly unsuccessful venture. So he didn't sell the tickets. He couldn't secure a venue. He didn't know what he was doing. It was a guy who, and I feel really sorry for him, but he'd borrowed the money and he'd sent it off and all this other stuff. And then when it all fell over, he contacted Donald Trump's office and said, look, I need to talk to him because something's gone wrong here. And he was informed that the money wouldn't be returned to him. And he was told that this was business. And a reporter called James Thomas, who was then working for Channel 7 in Australia, he had Donald Trump's phone number. These are the days when you could get Donald Trump's phone number and he'd talk to just about anyone.
Yeah.
And he called him and he said, this is James Thomas from Channel 7 Australia. I've been talking to Mr. Such and Such and you took his deposit. He said, no, he gave me his deposit. He gave me the deposit. He paid me the deposit to secure my time to plan a trip down under. And I put a lot of planning into this thing and it's not my fault that it's not going ahead. And he said, why won't you just give him the money back? Because you've got millions of dollars and he's got none. And he said, what I'm giving him is a very important lesson in life. And that is, don't go paying a deposit to someone before you know that you've got the event booked.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's harsh.
Great lesson.
Right, but
harsh, but he's a leader and, I think he deserves a lot of the success
you don't get to where
has.
he's got without making a few tough decisions along the way.
Just on that, I know that there was someone trying to test the waters to see if there'd be any interest bringing out Joe Biden to Australia, and the answer was no. Or maybe if we brought out Joe Biden, it would be more of a, is it a freak show, clown show? Is he really there?
Yeah.
What's happening? But Kamala Harris says that she's considering running again.
No, she's
she
not.
is. We've even got the video
She's
to prove it.
not.
And here we go. Here's Kamala.
Will you run again?
I haven't decided.
You're still thinking about it.
I might.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I've been saying. That's what I closed the book and I'm like, oh, she wants to. She's just thinking about it. If that was my impression. I don't know if that's what you intended, but that was my impression.
No, the book is about a specific period in time. There was no agenda beyond what we've discussed already, which is just sharing with people, the reality of the experience and hope.
Ben, she was
I'm
also
out.
asked.
I'm done. That was great.
Thank you. You are required to come back. Otherwise, we've got more Kamala Harris clips just to torture
Are
you with.
you for real?
Yeah, but of course she thinks that because
No,
she's got
she
people
doesn't.
around her saying you were so close, run again. She's got that book about why she lost. She was asked why she lost, and her answer after all this time, all this reflection is a lot of disinformation. They're my thoughts on Kamala Harris. And yours is to walk out and leave the studio.
Deep breaths. I'm going to break this news. She's not running. They won't let her run. She's trying to sell books. She's answering a question in an interview. I'm surprised that she would even suggest that. Even the people around her know that she was absolutely flogged, as we would say in Australia, beaten to a pulp politically, not literally. There's no way in the world. Why you don't go back? Donald Trump came back. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, she's got people around her saying run again. She's revamped her social media. So she's trying. She's now on circuits. It's not the first time she's kind of said, oh, I might. She's got people around
Wasn't she
her.
just here recently?
She was here recently at a real estate conference. I don't know what Kamala Harris has to offer about real estate. Maybe Donald Trump actually would have been a better person for that. But who else do they have, Ben? Because they've got Gavin Newsom, who's also just published a book. Yep. He's got his podcast. They've got AOC, who made a fool of herself in Munich.
Yep.
Didn't know where Venezuela is. So they're kind of the key options at the moment.
Well, one of the great problems we've got in Australia is the same problem that you've got in the States. Now, Donald Trump would say it's not a problem, but you need an effective opposition for the country to function at its best, to put people under pressure. We know it. We see it in a game of tennis, right? When you've got two of the best in the world going head to head, they both lift. You get a better outcome when you've got a healthy, strong competition. If that's the best they put up, and we've had the same thing here. We've got a left-wing Prime Minister who's on, say, the Democrat side of politics for those watching in the United States, and the Conservative side of politics in Australia has just eaten itself alive over recent times, where they're stabbing each other in the back, bringing down leaders, can't work out their policies, don't know who they are. We even had a Liberal leader who was our opposition leader, the woman who wanted to become Prime Minister, Susan Lee, who, when she got the job, the first thing she did is she went on a listening tour. Now, a listening tour is like going to the real estate conference if you're Kamala Harris. It's not going to help you. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind a listening tour, but it's got to be measured in days. She went on one for 6 months. It'd be different if you said, look, I'm going to spend the next week crisscrossing the country. I just want to talk to some of my colleagues, and then I'm going to come out, so that you're not making a captain's call on every policy. I get that but I said to her, I said, what are you doing? I said, you can't do this. This can't go for weeks. It went for 6 months.
And no policy.
And then
it took such a long time.
They went, all right, see you later, bye-bye, you're gone.
And we just had Bondi, I commend her for the work she did during the Bondi attack, but, Anthony Albanese, there was no opposition, which is why I think it's quite interesting that Pauline Hansen's doing quite well in the polls, and I think she's certainly got the momentum behind her. I don't see that changing.
Pauline is the closest thing to Donald Trump in Australia, as far as someone who's out of the box, and no matter what they say, they get attention. But the thing that has put her in good stead is the fact that what she's saying now, she was saying 30 years ago. She's saying it a little bit differently, and she's offended people along the way, like Donald Trump. But people want that consistency. You imagine if you came in to host the Power Hour and you got in here and you went, what should we do? I need to do some market research. I need to find out what people want to watch. I need to test the water on. No, you can't, because all of a sudden they go, mate, your studio time's gone. I'll get someone else in here who knows what they're doing. There's nothing wrong with collaborating with people and going, what do you reckon? Should I start with this or should I start with that? But if your whole day is based around, I don't know what I'm doing and I've got to find out what I'm going to do, you're dead in the water.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was at Mar-a-Lago a few months ago.
And
I won't say who said it.
Let me just drop.
But
are you dropping names?
No, but the reason
pick them up?
absolutely, I'm doing that. No, but the reason I say that is because it was I didn't get to hang out with Barron, unfortunately.
Really?
I'll let you know.
You two
Very
would
tall.
make a great couple.
Are you trying to set me up again?
Yeah.
He doesn't have the right last name. I mean, Trump's a very good last name, but the last person you tried
Gabriella
to set me up
Trump.
with I had
if
to
you
do
could
Power.
send some feedback through to the Power Hour, is it just me, or would Gabriella Power and Barron Trump? Mate, that'd be, please.
Well, you set up my mum, so maybe it's only time that you set me up with
I did set your mum up
someone.
once upon a time.